Good day, grade 11s. With regards to tasks 10.7 and 10.8, you will be required to read the cash budget of a trading business, cash and credit. So far we have been completing a cash budget, but now the difficulty is going to be increasing by adding credit. All right. So it's found on page 395 of your textbooks. I'm going to be reading and then answering the example with you. Many businesses adopt a cash-only policy. The policy is advantages is in that the trader is not burdened with the task of screening or interviewing debtors to find out whether or not they are good payers or not. He receives his payment immediately. There is less administrative work maintaining and monitoring a debtor's ledger. There is a positive impact on working capital. Cash is received immediately, resulting in money not being tied up in working capital. The cash flow position of a business is improved. There is no waiting period for payment. There is always the possibility of bad debts when a business deals in credit. So those are your advantages of a business dealing with cash only. However, many businesses do offer credit facilities to the public. The majority of consumers make use of these facilities. To obviate the risk of credit trading, many businesses, especially the large chain stores, encourage their customers to pay by debit or shopping cards and credit cards. From the point of view of the business, such transactions are treated as cash transactions. All right. So remember, a debit card or a shopping card or credit cards is cash transactions. The bank credits the trader account after the transaction is processed, usually within a day or two. So basically, in doing that, you are making credit with the bank and not the actual business. Repayment of the debt plus interest is made to the bank, usually in installments. It should be noted that the credit agreement is entered into between a bank and the customer. The dealer only acts as an intermediary. Many businesses accept payments and deals with account queries on behalf of the bank. There are also those businesses which grant credit to customers themselves. This is the important part. There are businesses who give customers credit. All right, so this paragraph over here was the bank giving credit. The next is the actual business giving credit. Okay, the trader will need to decide on the credit terms allowed. Example, are they going to give the customers 30 days to pay back, 60 days to pay back, or 90 days, etc. The customer must be made aware of the credit terms. Example, if the account becomes overdue, he may be charged interest if he pays before a stipulated date. He may be entitled to a cash discount. What does that mean? If I pay my debt late or my credit late, I will be charged interest. However, if I do pay it early, I must be the business must encourage to give the debtor a discount. A clear distinction will have to be made between the month of the transaction and the date of payment. For example, 60 days credit would mean that the receipt of the cash for sale in May would only be received in July, 2 months later. Since the cash budget deals with cash only, the credit transaction is not recorded in May. The July cash budget will reflect the expected receipt. From this, it is clear that a credit transaction will only affect the cash budget when the cash is received. Please note that is very important when we are working with the cash budget. Yes, I will take credit in May, but it will only reflect as a receipt, money received in July, because that's when I would have received it. I hope that makes sense to you, grade 11s. Let's move on. A careful study of the payment pattern of credit customers is necessary so that the future inflows of cash can be budgeted for. Historical records may reveal the collections from debtors are spread over a few months. Example, 10% of the accounts are settled in the transaction month, i.e. the month in which the transaction has taken place. So if I take on credit in the month of June, I will pay it in June. That's what it means. 70% of the accounts are settled in the month following the transaction, meaning if I take credit in June, I will only be receiving that money in July. The accounts are settled in the second month after the transaction. What does that mean? If I take in June, I will only settle my account in 2 months' time. So that would be July, August. And then 4% of the accounts are written off as bad debts in the third month. So if you haven't received any money from the debtors, then you will write them off as a bad debt in the fourth month. A separate schedule called the debtors collection schedule is drawn up to record the expected collections from debtors. The total cash collection for the budget period are carried through to the cash budget. So I'm going to go through the credit terms with you, and we're going to look at the solution, and then for your activity I'll be completing April and May for you, and you are expected to complete June to September. Okay, so what does this example say? It says, information, customers are allowed 30 days credit. All right, these terms are complied with, i.e. collections agree with the terms. Then they say outstanding debtors for the 31st of December 20.8 was 36,000 Rand, which means we will be receiving 36,000, remember 30 days, in the next month. Okay. And then the expected credit sales for the first 6 months of 20.9 are as follows. So they have given us the credit terms. So if I take credit in December, in 30 days time I will be expecting that money to be paid. So in the month of January I expect 36,000 to be paid. In the month of February, which is 30 days after the January credit payments, here they said people in January took 28,000 rands worth. When are you expecting this 28,000 rand back? In the next 30 days, which would be February. Again, for February, they have taken 27,700 rand from the business. So when are you expecting this to be paid? 30 days later, which would be in March. The very same for March has 25,600 and 60,000 that was taken on credit. You expecting this amount 30 days later, and 30 days later will be received in April. In March, April, I had customers taking credit worth 30,000 rand, and this 30,000 rand will be paid in May. And so for June, you will be receiving the May credit payments. Okay, so let's move on to completing task 10.7. There they're telling us customers are given the 30-day period. These terms are complied with. There are no discounts offered for early settlement. Outstanding debtors for March was 111,000 Rand. So already you can put your debtors collection for the month of March over here, 111,000 Rand. Okay, So that one is done. And then they said the expected total sales are shown below. Very important, they say 75% of the total sales are on credit. So the total sales, we can place them, here's it over there on the top in the graph. For April, the total sales was 174,000. And for May, it was 150,000. You will be completing the rest of the activity. You now need to work out how much of that 174,000 is for credit sales, and they told us it is 75%. So I will say 174,000 times 75%, that gives me a total of credit sales worth 130,000 500. Obviously, what is the difference if a percentage is out of 100? If 75% is for credit sales, it means that your cash sales is 25% of the total sale given. You can do the very same thing, 174,000 times 25% to get your cash sales. Or you can just subtract 174 minus the 130,500, whatever works for you. But the total over there is going to be 43,500. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, they told us that our customers are allowed 30 days credit, which means this credit sale that we have over here will be received in the month of May, 130,500. All right, and now let us work out May. We'll do the calculation on top. The total sale is 150,000 times 75%. It gives me 112,500 rand, and that I'm putting under the credit sales, and I'm going to work out what is 25% of 150, and that should give me 37,500. Now remember, your debtors collection schedule is only interested in the credit payments. Alright, so if the people have taken credit sales worth 112,500, then there's a 30-day credit that is allowed, so I will be receiving 112,500 rand in the month of June. Please work out June, July, August, and September. And then with task 10.8, you are required to answer questions based on task 10.7. Thank you, grade 11s.